Hey, how's it going, pop-up campers? Welcome back to It's Poppin', where we talk about everything pop-up camper related. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about how to winterize your pop-up camper. But I want to make a very important point. Just because you winterize your water lines in your pop-up camper doesn't mean you have to be done camping. It just means that, hey, you don't want to risk, breaking a water line that runs in your pop-up camper if you're camping, when those nights get below freezing. All right, so winterizing your pop-up is actually pretty simple, and you're going to need a few things. So first and foremost, you're going to need some RV marine AntiFreeze. Now specifically, and it says it kind of in small text, but it's for potable or potable water systems. And I think it's generally, as far as I know, always this pink color. But just make sure you pick up antifreeze that's for water plumbing systems like this stuff is. So in addition to the antifreeze, I highly recommend picking up one of these blowout valves. Now what you do with this is this threads in to your city water inlet. And then this side will connect into a compressor quick connect nozzle fitting, and that'll allow you to blow out any of the actual water that's in your water system in your pop-up camper. So it might go without saying, but you're also going to need an air compressor to go with that blowout valve. And an important note is that you'll need a adjustable pressure air compressor that can go at least below 60 psi. What our manual recommends is that when you blow out your water lines, you're at 60 psi or less, just so you don't damage them when you're blowing air through them. So the first thing we're going to do is drain out your water holding tank. Now we normally will drain that out to the best of our ability at the end of the camping trip. That way we're not lugging any excess water home, because as you all know, water equals more weight, and why pull it home when you don't need it there. So next what you're going to do is, after you've drained out your onboard water holding tank, you're going to close that up, and then you're going to open up all of your cold water valves. So for us, that's going to be our cold water valve on our sink, and then our cold water valve on our indoor shower. All right, so after you've opened up your cold water valves, and whatever that may be, sink, shower, etc., you're going to want to flip on your water pump until that water stops flowing. Once there's no more water coming out, shut off your pump, because if you let it run, it could damage it. All right, before you step out of the camper and open up your low point drains, you're going to want to open up your hot water lines, and that'll ensure that there's a little bit of back pressure behind those hot water lines. So when you open up those low point drains, it drains out everything. The next step is to open up the hot and cold low point drains. And so these are our hot and cold low point drains. Now, they typically might not have these easy open valve. They might be threaded caps that you'll have to take off, but these are your low point drains. All right, next up is going to be the water heater. So as far as the water heater is concerned, you're going to want to open up the bottom drain valve right here. And to do that, at least for us, it requires a 1 1/16 inch socket. And then you're also going to want to open up your temperature pressure relief valve, your safety valve at the top here, and drain out everything from inside your hot water heater. And while you're at it, this is a great time to check out your anode rod to see what kind of condition it's in. As you can tell, this one, it's missing some right here, but on the whole, it looks to be mostly there, so it looks fine for another year. All right, so that's essentially part one, which is draining out your entire camper of water. Step 2 is going to be the actual winterization part, where we blow out all of the lines and then introduce some antifreeze into the system. All right, so before this next step, what we're going to do is close up all of our faucets and valves and such, so for the shower and the sink. Don't forget to close your low point valves. All right, so the next step is going to be locating your freshwater fill tank access point. And I actually forgot to mention, but we have a small little funnel that we use for this step. And that's going to come in handy for putting in the potable water antifreeze. Now, our manual recommends at least half a gallon, but just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to put in the full gallon into our freshwater holding tank here. All right, so just keep in mind that some of you guys might have pop-up campers that actually have a different access point or fill point for that antifreeze. So, and it might be like somewhere near your water pump. So keep that in mind, but this is what our manual tells us to do as far as introducing that antifreeze into the water system. All right, next you're gonna wanna locate your water heater. And ours, like all other pop-up campers, the water heater is hidden in a cabinet. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna close off the valves going into the water heater. So we got our cold running in, our hot running out, but then we're going to open up this bypass valve right here, and that way we don't introduce any of the antifreeze into our water heater, which has already been drained out and free of water. Now let's turn on the water pump to draw some of that antifreeze into it. All right guys, so here's where you can kind of choose your own adventure, if you will. You can choose to either winterize your entire plumbing system with antifreeze, but that's going to require more antifreeze than we introduced into our system. How much exactly, I don't know. It might just depend on your specific camper and all that fun stuff. What we're going to do, and hence me showing you the blowout valve in the beginning of the video, we're going to clear out the rest of the plumbing system by utilizing the blowout valve and just running air through it. All right, now that we got our air compressor all filled up, we're gonna open up our drains once again. Remember to keep your PSI under 60. All right, so let's get this blowout valve adapter screwed in. Alright guys, so that's it as far as draining your water system as well as your water heater and then winterizing your water system. Now, if you're like us and also have a cassette toilet, you know that that's a completely separate system from your sink, your shower, water heater, all that stuff. So you can actually continue to use your cassette toilet as long as your cassette toilet stays in a heated area if the temperature outside drops below 32 degrees, which makes sense. Now, the reason we decided to winterize our plumbing system is because a lot of those PEX tubing lines run below our camper and are in no shape or form insulated at all. However, the cassette toilet is contained within the camper unit, a little bit more insulated, a little bit more protected. So you could get away with still utilizing your cassette toilet, even if it's getting near those, below freezing temperatures. And of course, now's a great time to do maintenance if you're done camping for the season. We do have a video all on pop-up camper maintenance, so if you're choosing to do all that now, definitely check out that video. But if you're like us and you're going to do some fall and winter camping, well, maybe don't worry about it and save it for a cold day when you're not out there camping. So that's it for draining out your water system, including your water heater, and then also winterizing, your water system and all those components of it. Now, I know a lot of you are going to want to know about how to get essentially your pop-up camper ready for storage. So, what to do with the battery, the propane, everything else, your wheels. I really want to answer those questions in this video, but I think it's just going to be too long. So we're going to kind of leave this as a standalone video so it's easy to find for most people. And then I promise in a subsequent video, we'll definitely address those questions on how to get your pop-up camper ready for storage. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, please let us know. And hopefully we see you at the next video. If not, hopefully we see you out there camping.